A terrible accident left me with intermittent memory loss. My boyfriend, Mike, held me tightly and promised, no matter who you forget, I will always stay with you. My best friend Chloe even quit her job to take care of me. Back then, I really thought I was the happiest person in the world. Before I start this story, I need to say, this is a happy story, but that happiness belonged only to the heroine. The day my memory recovered, I planned to surprise them. Instead, I opened my bedroom door and saw Mike and Chloe tangled together on my bed, kissing desperately. I stood frozen at the doorway, my heart hollowing out. Then I quietly pulled up my phone and called my first love, Aiden. My memory's back, I whispered. Come pick me up. The other end of the line went silent for 3 seconds, then came his low, familiar voice. Where are you? My place. I forced my voice steady. Now, as soon as I hung up, I heard hurried panting from inside the room. Mike's panicked voice, wait. I think I heard something. He lifted the blanket, and our eyes met, cold and sharp. Chloe scrambled for her clothes, covering herself without a hint of shame. Baby, she's still dealing with memory loss, right? She said to Mike. I smiled, lightly, painfully. Sorry for interrupting your performance. Mike rushed toward me. It's not what you think. Let me explain. I don't need it. I stepped back. You two can continue. Someone's coming to get me. I dragged my suitcase out without a single glance back. The air outside was freezing, but still cleaner than the air inside that room. A few minutes later, a black SUV pulled up. The window rolled down, revealing Aiden's dark, intense eyes. He looked at me once, fury tightly leashed beneath the surface. Get in. I climbed into the car. The moment the door shut, it felt like the final punctuation mark on that ridiculous chapter of my life. Aiden took a deep breath, as if holding himself back. But when he noticed my white-knuckled grip on the seatbelt, something inside him snapped. What did they do to you? He growled. Tell me. I shook my head. I just don't want to go back. Aiden's hands tightened on the wheel, veins rising. What you saw at the door? That's the mildest thing they've done. Then suddenly, he pushed his door open. I grabbed his sleeve. Aiden, I don't want to see them again. He lowered his head, eyes burning and dangerous. You don't want to see them. I get it. But someone hurt you. I'm not letting that go. I froze. Aiden gently pressed my hand back onto the seat. Stay here. Don't get out. Then he strode into my building. Through the window, I saw him kick the door open. Chloe screamed. Aiden's voice was ice. You've got some nerve. Mike shouted. This has nothing to do with you. A punch landed with a sickening thud. Mike collapsed before he even understood what happened. Chloe shrieked. You're crazy. Aiden grabbed Mike by the collar. Touch her again. Go on. It was the first time I'd ever seen Aiden lose control like that. When he finally walked back out, there was a bit of blood on his face. He got into the driver's seat wordlessly. I swallowed. You actually hit him? Aiden turned to me, his gaze terrifyingly dark, but when he looked at me, it softened. I've wanted to do that for a long time. Then he fastened my seatbelt with careful hands. Let's go. We're leaving. A few minutes after we left the neighborhood, Aiden's phone buzzed violently. He glanced at the screen, then let out a cold, humorless laugh. He called the cops. I stiffened. Mike? Yeah. Aiden's expression darkened. He's claiming I broke into his home and assaulted him. My breath caught. But Aiden wasn't even nervous. Typical. A man like him gets punched and immediately plays the victim. I bit my lip. I'm sorry. If it weren't for me, Aiden slammed on the brakes, leaning in close, voice low and firm. Don't say because of me again. You're the one who was hurt, not me. I stared at him, stunned. Something warm and sharp twisted painfully in my chest. We drove a bit farther, until red and blue lights flashed behind us. Aiden pulled over. A police officer approached the window. We received a report of assault. We need to ask questions. Through the back window of the patrol car, I saw Mike. His face was swollen from Aiden's punch, but he still managed to force out a pitiful cry. Officer, that's him. He barged into my home and attacked me. He pointed at me. She can prove it. My fingers curled tightly around the seatbelt. The officer looked at me. "Ma'am, you're part of the incident. We need an accurate statement." Mike's voice echoed in my head. "You need to listen to me. I'm the only one you can depend on now." Then the memory of him holding me tenderly while I was sick, right before sneaking behind my back with Chloe. My hand slowly loosened. And my voice, when I spoke, surprised even me, calm, steady. "I don't want to testify for him." Mike's eyes widened in horror. "What? You're my girlfriend." I stared at him, unflinching for the first time. "We're done. And also, you did put your hands on me first, didn't you?" Mike's face drained of color. You're lying." The officer frowned. "Ma'am, is that true? If so, his report may count as false accusation." I nodded. "Yes, it's true." Mike thrashed in the back seat. "You're insane. You're F***ing insane." "Enough." The officer warned him sharply. Aiden turned to me then. In that moment, a strange emotion flashed in his eyes, shock, but also something deeper. Pride, maybe, or concern so heavy it almost hurt to look at. Eventually, the police took Mike back to the station for further investigation. Aiden gave his statement and was released. Silence filled the car as we drove away. I leaned back in the seat, suddenly exhausted. Aiden's grip on the steering wheel slowly loosened. "He hit you before?" he asked quietly. The calmness in his voice felt sharper than anger. I didn't answer. I didn't have to. Silence was the answer. Aiden exhaled shakily, fury simmering beneath the surface. "Okay," he said. "I get it." We hadn't driven far from the police station when my phone suddenly lit up with an unknown number. I hesitated for a second, then answered. The moment the call connected, a shrill voice exploded through the speaker. "Are you out of your mind? Mike is blaming everything on me now." It was Chloe, hysterical, screaming. I froze. "What do you mean?" Chloe was nearly incoherent. "He said I seduced him. He said I forced him to cheat on you. He even said I told him to hit you. He's putting everything on me." My grip on the phone tightened. Aiden glanced over. "What's she yelling about?" I shook my head, signaling him to wait. Chloe's voice was cracking. "Desperate, I was just having fun with him. He was the one who wanted it. Why do I have to take the fall? I took care of you when you were sick. How could you do this to me?" I let out a cold, humorless laugh. "Take care of me? You were sleeping with my boyfriend while I was sick." The other end of the line went silent. Then Chloe exploded again, screeching, "I love him more than you ever did. You didn't deserve him. He was only happy with me. You're the useless one." Aiden's jaw clenched so hard I saw the muscle twitch. He reached out and tapped my phone, silent request for speaker mode. Chloe's breakdown continued. "Mike got arrested. He told the cops everything. He said he only hurt you because I provoked him. He even blamed me for the injury that made you lose your memory." My whole body froze. "What injury?" The phone went dead quiet for 3 seconds. Then Chloe said, "Weak. Guilty. The night you hit your head on the cabinet, when the memory loss started. But I remember slipping. By accident." Yes, she said too quickly. "It was an accident, just an accident. You're overthinking it." The more she denied it, the more obvious it became. Aiden reached over and covered my trembling hand. "Is she telling the truth?" Chloe suddenly screamed again, voice raw. "I don't care. You have to help Mike. You have to help us. We're both screwed otherwise." I exhaled, cold and steady. "And why do I owe you anything? After everything you did?" "Because," Chloe sucked in a sharp breath. "Desperate. Because you promised me once, you'd never leave me. Did you forget?" Aiden finally lost patience. He took the phone from my hand and said flatly, "She doesn't owe you. And she's not saving either of you. You two are going down, together." He hung up. Silence flooded the car. I stared blankly ahead, heart thudding wildly. Aiden studied me, his voice low but gentle. "The things she said. You know they don't add up, right?" I nodded slowly. "Mike and Chloe, they've been hiding things from me. A lot of things." Aiden gripped the wheel, eyes cold. "Not just hiding. They're terrified you'll remember the truth." The wind roared past the windows, but I couldn't hear anything anymore. The long, blank corner of my mind felt like it had just been pierced by a needle, memories slowly leaking through. Aiden noticed my expression shift. "What did you remember?" I pressed a hand to my forehead, breath unsteady. "I think I saw something. A little bit." Aiden immediately pulled the car to the side of the road and turned toward me, hands on my shoulders. "Tell me." Slowly, I closed my eyes and grabbed at the flickering flashes. The living room was brightly lit. I heard shouting, a man's voice. "Mike?" Then a woman crying. "Chloe." Aiden's jaw tightened. "They were fighting in your home?" I kept digging through the fractured images. My throat tightened. I walked over, trying to calm them down. Then, she grabbed me. Her fingers were digging into my wrist. It hurt. I swallowed hard. I struggled. I tried to pull away. And then, she pushed me. My voice began to shake. My foot slipped. I hit the corner of the cabinet. Then everything went black. The air in the car froze. Aiden's voice dropped to a lethal whisper. "She pushed you?" I clutched my chest, heart racing. But she told me I fell on my own. That it was an accident. Rage flickered violently in Aiden's eyes. "They caused your memory loss. Then they used it. They kept you close because they were terrified you'd remember." I felt breathless. But why did I forget everything so completely? Aiden stared ahead, then suddenly asked, "Before you lost your memory, did you drink anything unusual? Something you normally wouldn't?" My heart jolted. That night, Chloe poured me a glass of juice. I drank 2 sips and felt nauseous. Aiden's knuckles tightened dangerously. "She gave it to you herself?" I nodded. Aiden closed his eyes, breathing out slow and heavy. "I think I know what they did." I lifted my head. "Aiden, do you know something I don't?" He didn't answer right away. Instead, he reached over and fastened my seatbelt again, steadying me. "You might remember more soon. No matter what comes back, I'm right here." He restarted the engine, voice cold as a blade, "And they won't escape this." A few minutes later, we arrived at my apartment. The moment we stepped in, the familiar living room felt less like a home and more like a contaminated crime scene. I moved toward the cabinet where my head hit. The corner was still cracked. A sharp flash of memory stabbed my mind, Chloe's furious face, her hand yanking my wrist. The shove. Pain pulsed at the back of my skull. Aiden caught my arm. "You remembered something else." I nodded weakly. "Pieces." I knelt down to inspect the cabinet base. There, a thin black scuff mark. Barely visible. "A heel mark." I whispered. "Chloe wore sharp heels that night. She must have been right next to me when I fell." Aiden's voice was flat, cold. "She didn't stand nearby. She pushed you." I stood up, moving to the coffee table. A faint ring stained the wood, a cup mark. The juice. My stomach twisted. "Aiden, hand me the light." He passed me a small flashlight. I shined it along the table's surface. The ring glowed faintly, a color that didn't match juice. Aiden stared at it. "That's not normal." I touched the stain, and a chill crawled up my spine. "That drink. She lied about what was in it." Aiden's tone darkened. "She added something." My throat tightened. But why drug me? To knock me out? Confuse me? Or make me forget? Aiden breathed sharply. "They didn't want you remembering that night. Or anything that would expose them." Then something caught my eye, a crushed bit of transparent plastic near the trash can. I picked it up. Aiden asked, "What's that?" My voice came out thin, shaking. "The blister pack of sleeping pills." The room fell dead silent. Aiden's face darkened to something inhuman. "They drugged you?" I didn't answer. I just clenched the plastic piece so tightly it crumpled in my fist. In that moment, the fear inside me finally burned away, replaced by something razor sharp and cold. I stared around the apartment, now a graveyard of lies. My voice came out steady, controlled. "I see, Aiden. I want them to pay for everything." Aiden looked at me, and for the first time, I saw pride in his eyes. "Good," he said quietly. "You're finally back." The empty blister pack crumpled in my hand. My fingers were shaking. My heartbeat was too loud, too fast, too wrong. I tried to swallow it down, but the more I tried, the more everything inside me collapsed. Aiden stepped toward me. "You okay?" I shook my head. And then, the tears came. Without warning. Like a dam breaking. I covered my face with both hands. My voice cracking apart piece by piece. Why would they do this to me? I trusted them. I gave them everything, my time, my love, and they used my sickness to lie to me, drug me, push me, call me crazy. My breath hitched violently. What did I ever do wrong? Aiden froze, the fury draining from his face. But he didn't rush to hug me. He didn't smother me. He stood in front of me and waited for me to come to him. My legs gave out and I sank to the floor, hands braced against the cabinet corner, tears falling onto the hardwood. I thought they were the people closest to me. But now I don't even know myself. Was I really that naive? My voice dissolved into hoarse sobbing. After a long moment, Aiden finally knelt beside me. He slid one arm around my shoulders and pulled me gently against his chest. His voice was low, steady, grounding. You didn't do anything wrong. Nothing. I cried harder, tears soaking through his shirt. Aiden stroked my back slowly, calm, constant, reassuring. They're the ones who messed up. They hurt you. They used you. They tried to break you. Every horrible thing they did, none of it is your fault. I didn't know how long I cried. It felt like every year of pain I had swallowed was finally spilling out. Eventually the sobs quieted, like a storm slowly losing strength. Aiden looked at me then, eyes steady, voice deep. You're hurting now, but this isn't where you stop. He lifted my chin gently, making me look at him. You're going to get up. You're going to fight back. And they're going to pay for everything, 100 times over. My breath trembled. Aiden's voice was like a verdict. From this moment on, you are not the version of you they controlled. The room felt painfully silent, just our breathing, close and warm. My fingers curled slowly into a fist. The tears were drying. Something stronger took their place. Aiden. I think. I don't want to run anymore. He wiped the last tear trace from my cheek. Good. He murmured. You're becoming yourself again. Night settled outside the windows. Aiden stayed with me as we combed through the living room again. My emotions had steadied, too steady, almost cold. Then suddenly, bang, bang, bang. The door shook violently. Aiden's expression hardened instantly. He stepped in front of me. Don't move. I gripped the back of his coat. My voice came out barely above a whisper. Is it them? Aiden didn't answer, but the look in his eyes told me everything. Mike's angry roar boomed through the door. Open up. I know you're in there. Then Chloe's shrill voice cut in, cracked with hysteria. You can't do this to us. You can't abandon us. My blood ran cold. Aiden muttered. They got bailed out and came straight here? Unbelievable. Mike kept pounding the door. Why'd you lie about me? Why'd you say I hurt you? You remembered wrong. You remembered wrong. Chloe's voice turned desperate and ragged. We cared about you. How can you be so heartless? I let out a dry laugh. Aiden leaned toward me. You want me to call the cops? Not yet, I said softly. I walked to the door, but didn't open it. I spoke through the wood, my voice cold and controlled. What do you want? Mike seized the chance immediately. We need to talk. Don't listen to outsiders. Outsiders? I echoed. Aiden's an outsider? Then what are you two? The ones who lied, drugged me, and pushed me? Silence outside. 1 second. 2 seconds, like they'd been slapped. Then Chloe shrieked. It was an accident. You're being dramatic. Mike scrambled to help her. Yeah, we were trying to help you calm down. You were the unstable one. I couldn't help the bitter smile. Unstable? So your solution was to team up and paint me as a lunatic? Change the story so you never look guilty? Turn pushing me into I fell on my own? Twist everything I suffered so it becomes my fault? Silence hit harder this time. Then Chloe screamed again. You're letting Aiden manipulate you. He doesn't love you. Do you even know why he left you back then? He never cared. Aiden behind me let out a cold laugh. She'll know the truth soon enough. Mike hammered the door louder. Frantic, you have to open this door. We need to talk face to face. I inhaled. I put my hand on the doorknob. Aiden pressed my wrist gently. You sure? I met his eyes, steady, fearless. I want them to see I am not the girl they used to push around. Aiden searched my face for a moment. then nodded slowly. Open it. I'm right here. I pulled the door open. Mike and Chloe stood under the hallway light, disheveled, desperate, faces twisted with panic. Mike rushed toward me. Baby, just listen. Aiden's arm shot out, grabbing Mike's wrist and flinging him back. Mike yelped, stumbling into the doorframe. You psycho! He screamed. You think being tough makes you right? Aiden stepped forward. You touch her again, and you'll leave here in a stretcher. Chloe backed away, shaking, but still trying to hold her ground. She can't live without us. She'll be worse alone. I finally spoke. No, the ones who'll be worse are you. Without me. Shock rippled across their faces. I remember what you did. All of it. The shove, the lies, the drugging. Mike's face went chalk white. You're making things up. Really? I lifted the crushed blister pack between my fingers. This came from my trash. Chloe's knees buckled. Aiden gave them a look that was almost pity, almost. Your nightmare? He said softly. It's just beginning. Mike lunged to snatch the evidence. Give me that. It's not ours. Aiden twisted his arm with a sharp motion. Mike screamed, collapsing to the floor. Chloe broke down completely. We didn't mean to hurt you. We just wanted you asleep. We didn't want you to find out. Don't make this worse. I stared at them, really stared. The people I once trusted most were nothing more than terrified cowards now. You'll have plenty of time to think, I said, when you're both behind bars. The cold night wind swept through the open doorway, cleansing the house of every last remnant of them. For the first time, I wasn't their victim. I was the one they needed to fear. Mike was still on the floor, trembling in pain. Chloe had collapsed against the wall, pale as a ghost. I finally straightened my back, and for the first time, the air felt clear. Aiden took out his phone and dialed. Mike panicked instantly. What are you doing? Don't call the cops. Don't you dare. Aiden leaned down, voice dangerously calm. You barged in while on bail, harassed her, threatened her, and tried to destroy evidence. Tell me, what do you think I'm doing? Mike stuttered, voice cracking. Aiden. Man, bro, we used to be friends. Exactly. Aiden replied. That's the only reason I tolerated you this long. The call connected, Aiden said, tone even and chilling. Officer Tang? It's Aiden. We have 2 bailed suspects who broke into the victim's home, attempted to seize evidence, and threatened her safety. We need you here immediately. A pause. Even the officer sounded surprised. Aiden? Are you serious? Very. Aiden ended the call and stood protectively in front of me again, like a wall, steady and unshakable. Mike and Chloe looked at each other, terror settling into their bones. Aiden. You're insane. Mike cried. If we get arrested again, we're done, completely done. Yeah, Chloe sobbed. You can't do this to us. I looked at them quietly. Their fear didn't shake me anymore. I spoke softly, almost gently. When you hurt me, did you ever think I might be done? Mike froze. You pushed me. You drugged me. You lied to me. You called me unstable. You tried to make me doubt myself. I tilted my head. And now you're shocked there are consequences? Chloe collapsed to her knees. But we were your friends. We did everything for you. For me? I laughed lightly. Even you don't believe that. Mike suddenly slammed his hand against the doorframe, shouting, I did all of this because I was afraid of losing you. His voice cracked with something twisted and pathetic. Aiden muttered under his breath. Disgusting. Mike flinched like he'd been struck. Aiden dialed another number. Officer, if they come within 1 foot of her, can we add a restraining order on the spot? The effect was immediate. Chloe's face turned sheet white. Mike fell silent, trembling. For the first time, I realized I wasn't powerless. I was stronger than both of them combined. 10 minutes later, police sirens echoed up the stairwell. Heavy footsteps approached. Knock, knock, knock. A firm voice. It's Officer Tang. Aiden opened the door. The officers stepped inside. Officer Tang, who had taken my statement before, looked at Mike and Chloe with visible disappointment. You two were just bailed out, he said coldly. And now you're here again? Mike tried to speak, but Chloe broke first. It was a misunderstanding. We just came to talk. That's all. Officer Tang cut her off, annoyed. You're not allowed to contact the victim. You violated bail terms. He turned to me. Ma'am, please describe what happened. My heart pounded, but I didn't shake this time. I will, Mike snarled. Don't you dare lie. Aiden stepped half a step forward, and Mike instantly shut up. I looked Officer Tang straight in the eye. They came to my home, pounded on my door, threatened me, tried to force their way inside, and attempted to seize evidence I found. Officer Tang stiffened slightly. What evidence? I lifted the crumpled blister pack. I found it in my living room trash. Mike and Chloe gave me a drink that night, and afterward, I experienced dizziness, drowsiness, and memory loss. Officer Tang narrowed his eyes. In your previous medical report, your memory loss was attributed to head trauma. Are you suggesting there was another cause? I nodded. I didn't remember anything before, but now I'm starting to. Behind me, Mike's voice cracked into panic. She's lying. She's insane. She always has been. Officer Tang cut him off sharply. That's enough. He signaled to another officer. Collect that. Package it for testing. Chloe's face twisted in terror. And no, you can't test that. You can't. Her reaction said it all. The officers exchanged a look. Mike seemed to realize it too late. He lunged forward, screaming, Stop! Don't take that! You can't! Aiden shoved him back with one arm. Officer Tang stepped forward. Voice icy, your words alone just earned you new charges. Chloe was shaking uncontrollably. Mike broke completely, screaming like a man cornered. Why are you doing this to us? We only wanted her to stay quiet. We just wanted her to stay with us. Silence fell like a blade. Officer Tang's expression changed. The other officer froze mid-step. Aiden's entire body went still. I felt my own breath catch. Mike realized what he had confessed, but it was too late. Officer Tang spoke slowly. Dangerously, what you just said is enough for multiple new charges. He gestured firmly. Both of you, back to the station. Now, Chloe wailed. Mike fought, but the officers dragged them out. As they were being pulled away, Chloe screamed at me. She wasn't like this before. She used to listen to us. Everyone stopped. Aiden's face darkened like a storm. But I felt strangely calm. I said quietly, yes. I used to be obedient. A beat of silence. Now, I finally remember who I am. Mike twisted to scream one last time as he was dragged down the stairwell. You'll regret this. You're nothing without us. Aiden stepped forward. Voice lethal, say her name again and I'll add another charge. Try me. The officers hurried them away. The hallway fell silent at last. I inhaled. Slowly. Deeply. For the first time, I wasn't shaking. I wasn't afraid. I was free. The echo of the police footsteps faded down the stairwell, and the hallway finally fell silent. I leaned against the wall, closing my eyes, and suddenly, a sharp pain shot through the back of my skull. Then, flash. A memory exploded open. Me standing in the kitchen doorway. Mike and Chloe tangled together, kissing frantically. Chloe whispering, hurry, she'll be home soon. Mike muttering, give her a little more. She'll sleep longer. Chloe laughing softly, once she's out. Just say she fell. She won't remember. Mike's voice, as long as she stays confused. We can keep this going. My eyes flew open. My chest felt like it had been slammed by a hammer. My memory wasn't missing, it had been taken. Aiden saw my expression and immediately stepped close. What did you remember? I looked at him, voice trembling but clear. I remember everything. All of it. Aiden's jaw tightened. Tell me. They drugged me. I said. They shoved me. They staged the scene. They planned to keep me confused so I would never catch them. Aiden's fists clenched so hard I heard the leather of his glove strain. So they wanted you to be someone who could never catch them cheating. His voice was colder than death. The air turned to ice. My breathing quickened, not with fear, but with fury. No more running. I whispered. No more forgetting. Aiden's eyes softened for a moment, then hardened again. Good, he said quietly. Let's make them pay. Before he could say more, footsteps echoed in the hall again. A knock, firm, urgent. MS. Sanders? It's Officer Tang. Aiden opened the door. Officer Tang stepped in, and this time he wasn't calm. He held a clear evidence bag. Inside was a mini hidden camera. "Does this belong to you?" he asked. I shook my head immediately. "I've never seen that." Officer Tang took a breath. Face dark. "We searched Mike's apartment. This was tucked inside his closet. He forgot to erase the files." I felt Aiden stiffen beside me. "What's in the footage?" he asked. Officer Tang's jaw tensed. "Everything." My heart stopped. Officer Tang continued, voice low, "It recorded the entire night you were injured. From the moment you walked into the living room, to the drugging, to the push, to them staging the fall." I felt the world tilt beneath my feet. Aiden steadied me with a hand on my back. Officer Tang went on. "Mike and Chloe were using the footage to blackmail each other. They never imagined it would become the strongest evidence against them." I let out a shaky breath, half disbelief, half bitter satisfaction. "They recorded themselves." I murmured. "They recorded their crimes." Officer Tang nodded. "And now it's part of the official case." Aiden's voice dropped to a deadly calm. "How long will their sentence be, based on the evidence so far?" Officer Tang said. Expression grim. 5 years minimum." I didn't cheer. I didn't cry. I felt something else, release. Officer Tang added softly, "If you'd like, we can help you file for protection, relocation assistance, and identity privacy. Whatever you need." I exhaled slowly. "I want to start over." "Then we'll help you," he said. He left the mini camera behind as evidence. Aiden closed the door after him, and the apartment fell silent again. I looked around the room, the sight of so much betrayal, and felt nothing tying me to it anymore. "I don't want to live here," I said quietly. Aiden turned to me. "When do you want to move?" "Now." He nodded once. Without hesitation. "I'll get the car." "In 20 minutes. I had everything packed, a few books, a few clothes, a plant I had grown myself." Aiden returned and looked at the boxes, frowning. "That's all?" "That's all that's mine," I said. "Everything else belonged to the lies they fed me." Aiden didn't argue. He carried the boxes downstairs. He led me to the car, opened the door for me, and said softly, "I rented a place for you, in case you ever needed it." I stared at him. "You knew I'd need somewhere to go?" His voice dropped to something quiet, honest. "For years, I've been waiting for the day you'd need me again. I just couldn't come close, until now." My chest tightened painfully. "Aiden," he placed the last box in the trunk. "From now on," he said gently, "I go where you go." I let out a breath I felt like I'd been holding for years. "Then let's go," I whispered. The car pulled away from the building. I didn't look back. Aiden asked softly, "What do you want to do when we get there? Eat? Shower? Sleep?" I looked at him, eyes steady. "I want to do one thing." "What is it?" "Rewrite my life," I said. "Starting today." Aiden smiled, small, real, warm. "I'm with you." The car drove toward a new beginning. When Mike and Chloe appeared in court, they looked nothing like the arrogant, confident pair who once controlled every part of my life. Chloe was so pale she needed 2 officers to steady her. Her handcuffs clinked sharply under the bright courtroom lights. Mike looked even worse, ashen, hollow-eyed, like he finally understood what consequences meant. Reporters crowded outside the courtroom doors. Cameras flashed without pause. But I stood quietly at the back of the room, calm, composed, no longer needing to hide. The judge read through the charges, one by one, each more devastating than the last: assault, administering a controlled substance, obstruction of justice, evidence tampering, false statements to police, bail violation, conspiracy. Every word felt like a hammer, not crushing me, but crushing the chains they had wrapped around me. The verdict was delivered swiftly. Guilty, on all counts. Sentencing followed. Mike, 3 years in state prison. Chloe, 2.5. The moment the judge finished speaking, Chloe collapsed against the rail, wailing, "Sarah, Sarah, please. We're still friends. How can you do this to us?" Her voice cracked in the large courtroom. Desperate, pathetic. I looked at her calmly. "I didn't do anything to you. All I did was stop covering for you. Mike, already in custody, lifted his head for one last look at me. For the first time, there was something like regret in his eyes. But regret doesn't erase the truth. I didn't look back. I turned and left. This wasn't revenge. This wasn't victory. This was justice finally taking its rightful place beside me. Months passed. I officially moved into my new apartment, the one Aiden had prepared. Quiet, spacious, filled with sunlight. The days were peaceful in a way I had almost forgotten was possible. I woke early, made breakfast, went to therapy, wrote in my journal, the new one Aiden gave me. The pages thickened with every passing day, my handwriting growing steadier, my thoughts clearer. I was rebuilding myself one sentence at a time. One evening, Aiden knocked on my door. He looked almost exactly the way he did the first time he ever came to pick me up years ago, calm, steady, a warm presence at my doorstep. "I wanted to check on you," he said softly. "I'm doing well," I replied. "I meant it." He nodded. "I know, but I wanted to hear you say it." My heart warmed unexpectedly. We sat in the living room, sunset light spilling across the carpet. He looked out the window and said quietly, "You're doing better than I imagined." I smiled faintly. "So are you." He hesitated, then turned to me, eyes calm but serious. "Sarah, if you want to live your life alone from now on, I'll respect that. You earned your freedom. You deserve peace." My breath caught. "But if you ever want to start again, I'm here. And I'm not going anywhere." I stared at the cup of tea in my hands, the steam blurring my vision. It hit me then, real gentleness isn't someone holding you tight. It's someone giving you the choice to walk and choosing to walk with you anyway. I lifted my eyes and nodded. "Then, let's try again." Aiden's smile bloomed slowly, relieved, warm, genuine. He didn't surge forward. He didn't pull me into his arms. He just sat there, looking at me like I was something worth waiting for. And for the first time in years, I felt like I was worth something too. 3 months later, I took a picture of the first plant I bought for the new apartment. Its leaves were lush and bright, thriving in a way it never had before. I sent the photo to Aiden. He replied, "It's growing well. You are too." I stared at his message and felt something steady, warm, and quietly powerful bloom in my chest. I finally understood, starting over isn't about beginning a new romance. It's about choosing yourself after years of being lost. It's walking forward alone and letting someone walk beside you not because you need them, but because you want to. And me? I was finally stepping into the light again. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any thoughts about this story, feel free to share them in the comments section. Here is Roses and Love, sharing stories about marriage and women every day. See you tomorrow.